Hey everybody, how's it going? We are almost there. We are finally almost there the day before a Seahawks game. It's not a game that is meaningful. It's not a game that is important. It's not even a game that is especially interesting, but it is a Seahawks game against another team. Tomorrow night, Seattle Seahawks traveling to Las Vegas to play the Raiders in Allegiant Stadium. I think it's called Allegiant Stadium. So, what will we be watching for tomorrow is the question. What will we as fans be looking at to evaluate this game? Because obviously, doesn't matter if we win or lose. Doesn't matter at all. And we won't be watching to see Russell Wilson or DK Metcalf or Jamal Adams or Bobby Wagner or Carlos Dunlap. We're not watching for those guys to go out there and kill the Raiders for 4 quarters because those guys might not play at all. So what are we watching for tomorrow? And what can we use as a sort of litmus test to whether or not the game is a success and how we can build on whatever it is we see tomorrow going forward into our second and third preseason games. So before I get into this game real quick, couple of house cleaning notes. Colby Parkinson broke his foot. Pete Carroll said earlier today he's going to miss part of the season. Apparently it's not as bad as the break he had last year, which kept him out half the year. So if that's true, Colby has a chance to make his way back by the maybe 1 month or 6 week mark of the season. So look for him to miss 4 to 6 games and then get back on the field. That would be my guess. So it's unfortunate. Colby was having a good camp. He was going to be part of what we were doing on offense. People were excited about him, and now it's just he's behind the 8 ball. I don't think it's a huge deal because at the end of the day, he's a third-string tight end. That should not be a make-or-break thing for any team in the NFL. I will say, though, if this is a recurring problem with Colby Parkinson, at this point you can't really be surprised by it. So hopefully this is the last we hear about this foot, because if it breaks again, then you've just got Bill Walton on your hands. Dwayne Eskridge and Travis Homer, according to Carroll, are going to come off the PUP next week. So probably going to see them in preseason game 2 or 3. Not this week, though. As for my coverage of this game tomorrow, real quick, just to say what's going on. The game starts kind of late. Starts after 6. So I'm going to watch the game. And at that point, by the time I'm done watching the game and actually get a post-game video together, it's going to be like 10. And if I post it then I'm probably going to go live streaming at like 11. And no, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to upload the post-game video the next morning, and then we're going to go live on stream to talk about it the next morning. So keep an eye out for those Sunday morning. Okay, now, as for this game, I have to admit I'm a little bit put out going into this one, because not only is it the first preseason game, and it's somewhat doubtful that we'll see anything all that interesting because the starters are not going to play very much, maybe not at all. A lot of the players that I would have been interested to see are not going to play tomorrow either. And even if we were planning on playing the starters because we're trying to integrate a new offense, then we really don't want to put those guys out there because of the guys we have who cannot play for us, the guys who are injured, the guys who are holding out. So let's run it down, and here's the latest roster. So guys who will not be playing tomorrow due to either injury or a holdout, or a hold-in this case, include Rashad Penny, Travis Homer, Dwayne Eskridge, Penny Hart, now Colby Parkinson, Tyler Mabry, Dwayne Brown, Damian Lewis, Ethan Posick, Jamarco Jones, Cedric Ogbuehi, Pierre-Olivier Lestage. That's just the offense. So that's a good chunk of the guys who we thought were going to be important parts of the offense this year, and guys who we weren't thinking were going to be big-time players this year, but we wanted to see what we had with them. So that takes a chunk of intrigue out of this game. And then on defense, it's not as bad, but we're not going to have Kim Dichie, and he was maybe one of the guys who we were most interested to see. Cody Barton just came off the injury list, so I don't know if he's going to play tomorrow or not. I have a sense the team doesn't quite know yet either. No DJ Reed. Obviously, no Jamal Adams. I have no problem with that whatsoever. He shouldn't be playing even if he was healthy. Or, I'm sorry, not healthy, but even if he was under contract. But no Jamal Adams. And might be one or two more that I'm unaware of, but that's as far as I know. So, yeah. Some of those guys, we know. Like, I don't need to see Jamal Adams play in the preseason. I don't need to see a lot of these guys play in the preseason. However, some of those guys really could have used those reps. Travis Homer could have used the reps to try to save his job because as of right now, I think there's an uphill battle for him to make the 53 man, and he could have used those reps to prove that he's still a good blocker and still a good pass catcher and deserves a roster spot. I think Dwayne Eskridge needed the reps not to make the team, but so he's in a good position to contribute when the season starts. Penny Hart could have used the reps because his roster spot is not a guarantee at all, I don't think. I think he's likely to make it, but no guarantee. We have a lot of receivers kicking around on this team. So some of the guys who would have been interesting to evaluate, not going to play tomorrow. And we are implementing a new offense in Seattle, so some of this stuff actually does hurt on that level as well. No Dwayne Brown, no Damian Lewis, no Ethan Posick. Those are three of your starters. We also have no Jamarco Jones or Cedric Ogbuehi, which annihilates our tackle depth. And I think Tommy Champion actually might miss the game as well. So our tackles right now are paper, razor thin, tissue paper thin. We have Brandon Shell at right tackle, and then we have Stone Forsythe at left tackle. And I will say this, Stone Forsythe will be one of the players to watch tomorrow in the game. That will be definitely one of the big keys. But after that, you have like Jake Curhan and the McNeil, who we just signed, and maybe you're kicking Kyle Fuller out to tackle. Maybe you're kicking Island out to tackle. Like, it's not good. And ordinarily, that would be totally fine because they're backups. You want your backups to play in the preseason, but what if we were planning to give Wilson a quarter or a quarter and a half or some significant amount of playing time because we're implementing this new offense? What if we wanted to give Wilson, Carson, Metcalf, Lockett, Everett, the boys, our guys, a slate of snaps in a preseason game, even in week 1, because we're trying to implement this new offense? And I think it's possible that that was the plan, but you kind of can't do it now. I don't want anything to do with Russell Wilson going out there against another team, a team that can hit the quarterback. It's not like the mock game where you couldn't hit the quarterback. And rushing against Stone Forsythe, who, I want to say this. I had some people in the comments section say we're playing hardball with Dwayne Brown because we really like what we see from Forsythe. There's no way in the universe that we're prepared for Stone Forsythe to play his rookie year at left tackle. There's no way. Even if he does look good so far, and I've heard mixed things, that's a terrible idea. There's no way he's ready. And even if he is ready, what he's really ready to do is get his ass kicked so he can start learning. And if we had a transition QB or, a lesser QB to protect, then fine. They can get the crap kicked out of them, and I'm not going to be that upset about it. But not when you have Russell Wilson trying to win a Super Bowl this year, okay? That's awful. If that's the plan, then throw that plan into the fireplace and pour some gasoline on it, because that is a terrible plan. So you can't really put Wilson out there because his left side is going to be Stone Forsythe, Jordan Simmons, and Phil Haynes, who may or may not actually be a center, with Gabe Jackson and Brandon Shell on the right side. And then backing them up, you have guys who I don't expect to make the 53-man. So, yeah, can't really implement the new offense. So, right away, what I'm going to say is don't expect to be able to evaluate this new Shane Waldron offense tomorrow. We shouldn't see very much of it. We might see a little bit of it with the backups, but we're not going to see the meaningful parts of it because we don't have the offensive line to do it. And frankly, we shouldn't be showing all our cards right now anyway. That being said, I am definitely going to keep an eye on, like I said, Stone Forsythe, what he can do tomorrow is going to be fascinating and very, very valuable to this team. If he can prove that he can just hold his own out there, that has real value. If he can back up Dwayne Brown right now and maybe play a little bit of garbage time as the season goes on, that's valuable. Also going to keep an eye on Philip Haynes and hope he actually gets to play some center. I hope it's not Kyle Fuller because I kind of feel like I already know what Kyle Fuller is. I don't know what Phil Haynes is at center. I think that's really interesting. Kind of interested to see Kay Johnson and Penny Hart and Aaron Fuller. Those would be the three receivers who I think are kind of battling for that fifth receiver spot. But here's the thing. If the offensive line gets their asses kicked all night, which is very possible if you look at how weak our depth is right now, you're not going to be able to evaluate receivers because they're not going to get accurate balls thrown their way because our quarterbacks are going to be running for their lives. So we'll see if they're actually able to get involved. Also very interested in Alex Magoo. I feel like Alex Magoo could be a legitimate backup quarterback in the NFL, and I want to see how he's developed. Also excited to see Alex Collins because I have a feeling we may be calling on him at some point this season to do something good for us, and he may even have to start a game or two, so want to see what he can do. And that's really all I'm going to say about the offense. There are a couple pieces here that are really interesting, but the lack of a left side of the offensive line in this game is... It's going to be a problem. We're playing literally third stringers first string right now because of the tackle depth. So not really going to have a harsh evaluation of the offense no matter what just because of that. Defensively, however, I'm intrigued. And it's really unfortunate that Nkemdiche's not playing, but I want to get an idea of what the defensive line rotations are going to look like. I want to see where guys are lining up. Are we going to play Puna at the 1 tech or the 3 tech? Is Rasheem Green going to play outside or inside? Is LJ Collier going to play outside or inside? How are we going to use Benson Mayowa? What are we going to do on third down passing situations? There's a lot of stuff to answer about this defensive line, and even without Nkemdiche playing, and again, that's kind of a problem for our evaluation tomorrow, but there's a lot to learn about what we're doing on that defensive line. Very interested to see what we do over there. Ben Burr-Kirven, definitely intriguing. I don't expect him to play that much because we have fairly durable linebackers in front of him, but he could easily get called up for some live action in the regular season with just a single injury, so interested to see what BBK can do. Darrell Taylor is a big one also. Hope he can play and do some positive stuff because we haven't seen him in a even semi-real game yet. And I'm also going to throw Trey Brown and Trey Flowers out there because with DJ Reed out, those guys are going to get extra snaps. I'm really interested to see what they show because there was some hype around them, and I want to see if they're living up to that. Marquise Blair, also interesting. Honestly, pretty much everything on the defense has some intrigue to it because of all the assets we put into building this defense and the fact that we really do need this defense to be really good this year if we want to be good because the offense going to be a little bit of a work in progress like I've said. So, let me know what you guys think down below. I'm going to go and get out of here. Peace out. Go Hawks. Offense is going to be bumpy tomorrow. I'm a little bit down about that. There are very few players on this offense that can be fairly evaluated tomorrow because I just don't think this offensive line's going to be clicking with all these backups playing and backups playing. Defensively, however, I want to see. All right. Peace out, Go Hawks. See you guys later.